Hey you witches, how you doing today? We are coming to you with another Witchling Wednesday. And what does it mean? Interpreting signs and omens in witchcraft. So we're going to take a look at that. But first, for those of you who are new around here, my name is Taya. Welcome to the channel, where we talk about all sorts of different things witchcraft. And for those of you who are returning viewers, maybe coming in from another video, thank you for the support. It's very appreciated. And all of you, please consider subscribing. It's a great way to help us build the channel. So, first of all, how do you know if something's a sign? We have done a video previously, another Witchling Wednesday, on how do you know if something is a sign. So I'm gonna link that below in the description. So you might wanna go and watch that video first. That will help you sort of figure out how to tell if something is a sign or an omen. But assuming that you're good with that, let's set it up. You're walking along and a crow comes swooping down and, alights onto the sidewalk in front of you, kind of cocks its head and gives you a caw, right? And you're like, what does that mean? Or maybe you've just, awoken from a dream and you're like, oh, I just dreamt of a key. There was like a key falling in my dream. What does that mean? Anything can be a sign, but how do you know what that sign means? And you're gonna see postings like that all the time in Facebook groups, Discord servers, Amino apps, places where there's kind of chat boards for, witches to converse with each other. Somebody who's like, oh my goodness, XYZ just happened. What does it mean? And the most truthful answer that you can give someone, that I find I can give someone, is that I can't tell you what that means. Because we all have a unique journey that we've been on through this life, and different things, different symbols are gonna mean different things to different people. So there is no sort of pat answer that it's like, oh yeah, you see that, that's what it means. But I can help you sort of figure out how to figure out what it means to you. There's kind of a process I go through, and I'm gonna share this with you. So the first thing is I kind of get quiet and I decide, what does this mean to me? Does it have a meaning culturally? Does it have a meaning, does it trigger a memory or a sensation for me? The next thing is to look it up in a symbology book of some sort and to get the, the answers from there. To look up dream symbology, which is sometimes a little different. You can look that up, and then look up metaphysical or spiritual meanings of whatever it is that you saw. And then out of all of that, I find you can usually figure out sort of what resonates with you and put together some kind of an omen or meaning. So let's work through this with those two examples, and maybe that'll get you a better feel for what I'm talking about. So the first thing is, we'll do the key. We'll do the key first. So the first thing is get quiet. And what does a key mean to you? Does it have sort of a cultural meaning to you? Now, I don't know, I'm Canadian, North American, so it doesn't really have a cultural meaning to me. Is it triggering a memory or a sensation? Maybe getting the keys to your first house, or maybe like when you were 11 and your parents were like, you know what, you're responsible now. You can have a key to the house to let yourself in after school, right? I don't know, whatever it is. And that gives you that feeling of responsibility and grown-upness. So that's the first thing, right? You can kind of pick from your own experiences if there's anything there. The second thing is you can look it up in a symbology book. So I have the Element Encyclopedia of Secret Signs and Symbols. So when I look up a key in here, it tells me that the key is access to something previous left hidden. It means locking or unlocking. It means keys to heaven. Could have to do with initiation or power and ownership. So like of a house, right? I have ownership of a whole house now, or being given the keys to a city. That's like powerful, right? The next thing is to look up your dream symbology. And in dream symbology, a key means that it could be an answer or a solution. It could mean you're searching for a way to overcome an obstacle or solve a problem in your real life. And in metaphysical or spiritual meanings, it could be associated with Hecate or witchcraft, and it could be access to occult knowledge. So of all of that, what resonates, right? You can go through, now I haven't seen a key recently, so I can't really go through and sort of figure out the meaning, but from all of that, what does that speak to you? Out of all of those things, something would have resonated if you'd just seen a key, and you can kind of pick. It's like, okay, it's about unlocking an answer or a solution. It's about unlocking knowledge, and maybe unlocking knowledge and having that feeling of power and ownership. So let's go it again with the crow. What does that mean with a crow? So first of all, what does it mean to you? Maybe you have memories of seeing lots of crows on your grandparents' farm and it brings back warm, fuzzy memories. Maybe you see them as dirty scavengers. Maybe you see them as intelligent creatures. Maybe you know somebody that used to have a crow as a pet or used to feed the crows, right? Culturally, it could mean a bad omen. Some people culturally see crows as tricksters. In Appalachian folk magic, it could be when you see low flying crows, it means illness is coming. Then we're going to look it up in our symbology book. So I look it up because it's an animal. I can look it up in my correspondence book, and it doesn't actually have it in my element, my symbols book, but I also have an animal spirit guide book that will tell me. So I look it up in these two books, and in this one, for correspondences for ravens, I see afterlife, battle and war, communication, danger warning, destruction, honor, longevity, magic, power, prophecy, and witches or witchcraft. That's a lot of words that you can play with to pull together something, right? And then in the animal spirit guides, it's you're on the verge of manifesting something. Be watchful for clear omens. Expect a big change soon. Speak up about a recent imbalance or injustice that you've witnessed, or you're about to glimpse a future event that affects you directly. So there's a lot of different things in there that you can kind of pull from, right? To see, ooh, what could this mean to me? Maybe you look it up in dream symbology, number 3. So I look that up online. I don't have like a book for dream symbology, but it typically means you're seeing your shadow self, or it could represent suppressed subconscious beliefs or emotions. And in metaphysical or spiritual meanings, it's associated with the Morrigan. Often you'll see crows in groups of 3 is associated with the Morrigan. Odin, who was often accompanied by a pair of, in mythology, accompanied by a pair of crows, who basically translate to one is called thought and one is called memory. And they're also associated in the Greek pantheon with Apollo. So again, lots of different things to pull from. And you got to go through and see what resonates. So maybe it's like, yeah, I see this as it's an omen of, I see a lot of manifesting something about suppressed subconscious beliefs or emotions. Maybe those are going to be coming to the forefront. Maybe I need to do a little bit of a shadow work, a little bit of digging around to see what's going on with me and see what I'm manifesting in my life. And basically, yeah, when I go through, I always find that there's just one meaning that will jump out at me, and one message will sort of reveal itself. I mean, just in the animal book alone, there's 5 different messages to choose from. So there are a lot of different ways you can sort of interpret what these mean to you. But I find, like in my recent scrying work, like I said in the video on it, the hardest part is figuring out what it all means. And again, it was the same thing, pulling from all these different sources and figuring out what that meant to me. And each time you see something, it might not mean exactly the same thing. So sometimes to people, seeing a crow always means the same thing. To other people, each time it's different. For me, I find every time it's a different message. I have to sit down and sort of figure out what it is for me at that time. So yeah, how do you figure out what a sign means? What's your process? I'd love to know. Drop it in the comments below. Let's sort of see what everybody does. And otherwise, yeah, that's kind of my top tips on how to figure out what something might mean for you. Thank you for watching along with me and putting up with my dog barking in the background. It's much appreciated. And that's our video for today. We'll catch you in the next one. Mwah. Thanks so much, guys.